Hey everyone, I'm Nick, and welcome back to the channel. Today, the Range Rover Sport is back in the garage. If you haven't seen it before, we bought it from Copart for $1,200 and did a bunch of work to get it back on the road. If you want to see that, check out the rebuild series right here. It's been running great after all the work we did, but there's still one non-critical thing that hasn't been working since day one, and that's the rear wiper motor. We may be in a drought right now, but it's always good to be prepared, so let's get it replaced. So before we get started, let me do a quick overview of the tools we're going to use for this job. We've got an 8mm socket on a little extension, a 10mm socket, a 13mm socket, and a ratchet for those, 2 trim tools, a torque wrench, and a 2-jaw puller just in case. And you'll have to use whatever socket you need for that. So let's keep going. So to replace this wiper motor, we're going to have to do a couple things. We got to remove this arm, which we'll do, and then on the inside, we'll have to remove this cover here. And this cover is held in with 4 clips, kind of like on door trim panels, like around here. So let's actually start here. So don't forget, we're working around glass. There is a layer between the glass and this cover, but we're still gonna wanna be careful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some plastic trim clips to work this off. Or plastic trim tools, not trim clips. Try to get in there. Okay. Whoops. Jeez. Well, that went better than expected, or easier than expected. So you can see right here, 4 pins there, and they are all intact, which is excellent. So this is the backside. So there's actually 2 parts to this. There's the bracket on the outside, which has the mounting points for the cover. Those 4 holes. That's held on with little nuts here. But then there's also spacers you can see in there. And then the same stud is used to mount the wiper motor bracket. We'll remove this stuff as soon as we have the wiper arm off. So you can see this bracket here is held on here, 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 and here. And then the motor itself is held on with these 3. All right, so working on the outside here, there's a little cap here, which we could pry off. It's like a plastic part. And this covers the nut that holds this arm in place. You could probably use a little screwdriver or something to pull that out. There we go, we got a nut in there. It's got a little surface rust, but it's actually pretty clean. We'll put this aside where we won't lose it. And that looks like, what, 12 or 13? It's 13, yeah. Let's see if we can get this off. Just the hand. Yep, perfect. I'm gonna keep this. It's actually, besides the surface rust, it's actually in really good shape. Will this come off? The answer is no, not by hand anyway. So if you're not able to just pull this off, like me, what you should use is a puller. So we're gonna try to set this up so it'll grab under the wiper arm. You're not in the right position. That should do it. You wanna be careful because we're working next to glass, so keep that in mind. Oh, there we go. Very light. Might have been able to yank it off, but better safe than sorry. It was just a little basic Harbor Freight 2-jaw puller from a set. Convenient to have on hand. All right, we'll put this aside. And it went horizontal. Kind of got the marks here, so we can line that up. Now we can go back inside. So now let's see. These should be 10mm. Yep. Nope. Yep. And yep. Okay. So I think this right here on this side is an 8, and that is the one that is not used to hold the wiper motor, just the bracket. Now if you order a new part for this, you'll actually get the wiper motor assembly and the panel mounting bracket at the same time. Okay. This should just slide off. There we go. And it will only fit on one way, so I'll just put that aside. Now we just have these 3 here. 1, 2, 3. And I'll break them free by hand. These should be pretty easy to remove because they're A, inside the car, and B, a very low torque spec. It's like 10 Newton meters. All right, so we have little rubber grommets here and sleeves inside. Just pry those off, and those are like isolators, so that doesn't make a ton of noise when you run the motor, but they're a little jammed in here. Oh, right. Ugh. Wait a minute. I've just disconnected here? This is just disconnected? Is that really, could that have been the issue? I'm gonna put the screws back in and we'll find out. I'm only using this to bring it in. I'll tighten it by hand. All right, let's find out. I don't know why that was unplugged and how that happened, but. All right, let me get the key and we'll find out what's actually going on. All right, let's keep an eye on this and see what happens. Did it move? I can't tell. I'm gonna do something so I can tell. Let's see. Make a little wiper. So then when I look back from inside, I can see if it moves. Well, it looks like the issue wasn't actually the motor, it was the plug that came out. I don't know why it came out, it's pretty weird, but since we're here, we have a spare part, a new used part. We'll just pull it out, we'll do the whole process, and that way you'll know everything you need to know to put it back in, and we'll have a spare over here. So let's keep going. Okay, well, we can take this off. Pull that, all right, don't forget to unplug the connector. Pull that straight down. We got our part here. Yeah, this stayed on, okay. Here, so you can see we have the grommets with metal liner inside. And yeah, we'll put this aside. A good spare. Let's go get our replacement part. All right, so this is our new used part. And you can see it has the rubber grommets, but not the metal liners inside it. So in the parts place we got this from, pulled it off. They must have left the metal inserts on the trunk. So we'll grab those out, grab them out of our old part, put them in here. They just slot in. You can just push them out. There we go. And this is a used OEM part. So same part number, assembled in Hungary, just like the other one. Okay, and you can see here, compare side by side, this one has like a plastic piece here and this one doesn't. So we're gonna wanna grab this too. Here we go, that just pops off. And we'll pop this on here. There we go. Now we have our part ready to go. This goes in only one way. Make sure this slides in there. Line these up. There we go. So these are really low. They're just 10 Newton meters. So All right, let's confirm that this works. I forgot to plug it in, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't close it. No, I forgot to plug it in too. Here we go. Now we'll actually close this all the way. There we go. Now we'll find out. Well, this one works too. All right, let's put our mounting bracket on. So it's this piece here towards that side. Slot it on. Just snug. All right, so for these I just went till they stopped. Just a plastic bracket for another plastic cover. But yeah, now while we're here, I guess I should point out that if you want to check to see if you're in the same situation I was, once you take the cover off, you can just reach here and check the wiper motor connector. That way you can double check that it's all wired in properly and determine if you need to order a new one or just plug it back in. Let's see, we can just put our panel back on now. It's gonna be, well, it'll only fit on one way, but just line it up. There we go. Nice and secure. Close this up. All right, so we can grab our wiper arm. This is not a bad time to replace your wiper blade if you need to. You just slide it on. It's gonna be horizontal to the left. Should be all right, yeah. And the torque spec for this one is a little bit higher. It's 15 Newton meters, so it's still quite low. Now let's test it. Looks good, yeah. Cool, excellent. And our final step, let's put our little cap back on. Just push it in. There we go. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to cycle the motor without the arm on before you line it up so that it resets to its parked position. Otherwise you risk putting it on and having to like travel beyond the glass and then damaging your tailgate. But yeah, that's it. That's a new wiper motor installed. And now you know how to do it if you actually need to do it. So overall, this is a straightforward job, but it got me thinking, why was it unplugged? Well, if you followed this series from the beginning, you might remember that this truck has a slightly suspicious history. We bought it from Copart as a totaled vehicle with undercarriage damage that we never found. Looking at its history, the previous owner was a dealer that had bought it at auction as a repossessed vehicle. They had a key made, they did some cosmetic work, they put on some new tires, and all that just in time for the terrible car market in early 2020. So our speculation is that they weren't able to offload the truck and reported it as totaled to make back some money. Then it sat at Copart for about 2 years while the paperwork was sorted out. So it might be possible that as part of this totaling, the rear wiper motor could have been unplugged, so it would be an extra cost towards the repair cost. This is entirely speculative, but there's a lot of things that are a little suspicious in this truck's history. Let me know in the comments what you think. There's still some jobs to do on this truck, so it'll be back on the channel soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.